You ever wonder why some things just take off? They spread like wildfire, while other things, maybe even better things, just don't. It's this puzzle, right? It drives marketers crazy, it keeps artists up at night. Well, let's dive into it, because it turns out there's actually a science to why things catch on.
So, to crack this thing open, let's start with a really, really unlikely hero. I'm talking about a blender. Yep, not some fancy, futuristic, AI-powered gadget, just a plain old blender from a company called Blendtec. How on earth could something so, well, boring become a viral sensation?
So check this out. It's 2006. Blendtec's marketing guy gets an idea. For 50 bucks, 50, he buys a lab coat for the founder, points a camera at him, and just asks, will it blend? And what happened next was just wild. They didn't just blend fruit. They threw in marbles, which turned into fine dust. They blended iPhones, rakes, you name it. And people's reaction was pretty much what you see here. Insanely awesome. And the results? They were even more mind-blowing. These super low-budget videos, costing just a few $100 to make, led to a 700% increase in sales. 700%. Let that sink in for a second. So the real question is, how?
The usual thinking is that stuff gets popular because it's the best, or it's the cheapest, or it has a giant advertising budget. But Blendtec, they didn't do any of that. They didn't change the blender, they didn't cut the price, they didn't run a Super Bowl ad. Something else was going on, something way more interesting.
Okay, so you're probably thinking it was the internet, social media, duh. But here's where it gets really surprising. Jonah Berger's research in the book found that only about 7% of word of mouth actually happens online. Just 7%. The vast majority of sharing still happens the old-fashioned way. Face-to-face, talking to people. So if it's not just a social media thing, then what is it? Well, here's another myth we gotta bust. The idea that it's all about finding the right influencers, right? Get a famous person to touch your product and it turns to gold. But the book argues that's looking at it all wrong. It's not about who says it, it's about what is being said. The message itself has to be contagious. Some ideas are just so shareable it almost doesn't matter who's sharing them.
And this, right here, this is the core idea of Contagious. Virality isn't some accident. It's not magic. It's not random luck. It's made. It's engineered. There's actually a formula, a recipe for making things catch on. And that recipe is called STEPS. It's an acronym for 6 key ingredients: social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, and stories. These are the building blocks of contagious ideas. So let's take a look at what each of these actually looks like out in the wild. All right, so what do these steps look like in the real world? Let's do a quick rapid-fire tour. First up, social currency. We all do this. We share things that make us look smart or cool or in the know. Think about a secret bar, right? Like Please Don't Tell in New York, that's literally hidden inside a hot dog shop. When you tell someone that secret, you're not just recommending a bar, you're giving them inside knowledge. It gives you status. That's social currency. Next, triggers. The idea is top of mind, tip of tongue. If something is already on people's minds, they're more likely to talk about it. And I'm sorry, but we have to talk about Rebecca Black's song Friday. Look at this chart. The song might be, but every single Friday, the day itself acts as a massive, unavoidable trigger. And bam, the views spike like crazy. Third, we have emotion. It's simple. When we care, we share. But here's the key part. Not all emotions are created equal. We're talking about high arousal emotions. Things like awe, amusement, even anger. Those are way more powerful drivers of sharing than low-energy feelings like sadness. Remember watching Susan Boyle's audition for the first time? That feeling of pure awe? That's what makes you mash the share button. Fourth is public. If people can see it, they're more likely to do it. Built to show, built to grow. Men's health is usually a private thing, right? But Movember brilliantly made it public by getting guys to grow mustaches. Suddenly, this private cause was a visible public statement. It became a conversation starter, and just look at that growth. It's absolutely explosive. Number 5 is practical value. This is probably the most straightforward one. It's just useful stuff. News you can actually use. Like this video of Ken Craig, an 86-year-old guy who shows a ridiculously easy way to shuck corn in the microwave. It's so simple, so helpful, you almost feel obligated to share it with everyone you know.
And finally, stories. This is about embedding your message inside a narrative. It's like a Trojan horse for information. Subway didn't just advertise healthy sandwiches. No, they told the incredible story of Jared, a guy who lost a ton of weight eating their food. The story was so compelling that the marketing message just came along for the ride. So you put it all together and you get the 6 steps: social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, and stories. This isn't just theory, it's a real practical toolkit. You can actually design these principles into your product or your idea. You're not just hoping it goes viral, you're building it to be contagious from the ground up. So what this all means is that things catching on isn't just some random accident anymore. It's not a lottery, it's a system, a science that takes the mystery out of it and gives the power to, well, anyone, from a small business to a huge company. So I guess that just leaves one final question for you. What idea are you going to make contagious?